situation is sad to me. And it should be sad to all of us, and a reminder to all of us what can happen to young kids. This little girl, her name is Izzy, and she's in the school district of Utah, and she's 10 years old, and she committed suicide in November of 2021, I believe. And the report is the reason why she committed suicide is because she was bullied. And not just bullied, but racially bullied. They talked about her hair, students and a teacher. They said that she smelled, racial slurs, alienation, and bullying of a 10-year-old. Her parents went for help and tried to get some sort of protection, starting with the teacher, didn't get anywhere. Went to the principal, was sent to the vice principal, didn't get anywhere. These folks didn't understand or appreciate this concept of bullying, or they didn't know what to do, and they did nothing. And as a result, this girl was in so much pain, nobody could predict this, that she killed herself. She couldn't handle it. And as a person of color, I can understand that the alienation that comes with being black in many situations where people will alienate you, discount you. We all deal with that as adults, and we try to maturely deal with that as an adult, and we struggle with it. We even struggle with it as an adult, as we sit in our pain, as we're alienated in many situations in life. But can you imagine a 10-year-old though? A 10-year-old going to school, doing nothing wrong. Doing nothing wrong, just going to school, doing what she's supposed to do, to learn, to grow. Kids have weight on them as it is, just being a kid, and the things they have to go through being a kid and discovering themselves. They have weight, and they want to be happy, and they want to play, and they want to make friends. They want to watch happy movies. It's not the time to experience the heaviness and the weight of life yet. They don't even know anything about that. Unless you're bullied. Unless you're bullied. Unless people bully you racially, which happened in this case. And the reason why it happened in this case is because that district, that school system allowed it. They allowed it. And maybe they allowed it because they didn't know what to do. Maybe they allowed it because they didn't understand the weight of it. Maybe they allowed it because they're unconsciously biased or consciously biased, and maybe they didn't value this person, this little black girl, and didn't think that the pain that she felt or the situation that she was in was real. Who knows? But this idea and what was done here and ignoring it, this girl killed herself. To kill yourself as a 10-year-old, you've got to be in real pain. To kill yourself at any age is real pain, because you experience something in your life that brought you so much pain that you couldn't deal with it. You didn't think you could deal with it in that moment. And to get rid of this pain, you felt the better way was to kill yourself. And that's what this little girl did, and that's what's sad. But it brings attention to some things. One of the things we like to do is we like to pretend that this is an isolated incident. That this school district is an isolated incident. But it's not. Let's not fool ourselves here. It's not. It's not an isolated incident. This situation happens all over the country. Young kids don't kill themselves all over the country, but these types of situations happens all over this country, and people are ignored in these schools. They're lonely, they're alone, they're isolated, and they're bullied in these schools. We cannot ignore it. We cannot ignore it. We've got to look into all the schools. I'm talking to the schools. We got to look into the schools and see, what are you doing in these situations when the parents come to you and they say, my kid is being bullied, or my kid is being racially bullied? What are you doing? Got to figure out some sort of plan, some sort of support system so these kids don't feel alone. Because the problem is, it's so heavy. The bullying and the racial bullying is so heavy on a 10-year-old or on a student that they don't know how to handle it. It's so psychologically damaging to a kid to think that they're so different that people dislike them or hate them just because of how they're born. It's so psychologically damaging to a kid. And then to do it over and over again to that kid, we've got to figure something else in the school system. And we can't put it all off on the school system. We as parents have got to do something and everything we can to help our kids and to be there for our kids. We got to do whatever we can. And it's a hard thing to do because this situation is such a big weight. But we do whatever we can. Whether you pull yourself out, if you're in a school district, if you can, and you have this type of situation with your kid, pull them out. Pull them out. Figure something else out. If you can afford it, go to a different school district. Homeschool them. Get them out of that toxic situation, because it is toxic. It's toxic and it's damaging to kids. But I want to say again, this is not an isolated incident. This happens all over this country. That's all I got.